Although the Nomads were defeated at the hands of House Orlok, their search for promethium continues in the hive city of Acropolis. Word on the street is House Orlok have stashes of promethium at a hidden vault deep below the city's surface. The Helot Cultists in this sector have been keeping an eye on the Nomads ever since they entered the gates, hoping the Nomads would lead them to a new source of prosperity. Welcome back to Necromunda on MGM, episode 10 of Ashes of Acropolis. Today we have the Helot Cultists in a matchup with the Ash Wastes Nomads. A quick glance at the campaign table shows the Helot Cultists at 0-1 with a loss to House Cawdor. The Nomads are also 0-1 with a loss to House Orlok. We're starting to see some separation between the top and the bottom, so both of these gangs will be fighting for that crucial first win to stay relevant. The Cultists are led by Angmar, a demagogue with chainsword and reclaimed auto pistol. Disciple Ocelot has a heavy stubber. They have a specialist with long rifle, and the rest of the gang carries a mix of reclaimed autoguns, and they have a grenade launcher. 2 fighters will be out today, and they depart with 7 active fighters worth 730 credits, total gang rating of 990. Clan Una has a total gang rating of 1005. They are led by Eros. They also have 1 fighter in recovery from their dust-up with House Orlok. They only had 10 credits to spare and spend 5 to give the Watcher Oro a rocket pack for his charge caster. They have 6 active fighters on the move worth 960 credits. The scenario we're playing today is Archeo Hunters. The battlefield will be standard, Cruiser D3+7, so all fighters will participate. For tactics cards, we've got Custom 2 with Underdog. The Ash Wastes Nomads get Now You See Me and Overcharge. The Cultists select Seize the Initiative, Lucky Shot, and they also generate 2 Underdog cards and get Preemptive Measures and Speedy Recovery. For objectives, gangs are trying to crack open a vault before the other gang does. There will be an Automatica on the board represented by an Ambot. The Ambot is powered down to start the game and can be powered up with a simple action within 1 inch if an intelligence check is passed. It then acts as part of that gang. It is equipped with a melt-a-gun, heavy rock cutter, light carapace armor, and it can't be pinned. In the end phase, the Ambot returns to a powered down state. Only the Ambot can open the vault door by using a destroy door double action within 1 inch of it. Gang fighters can then enter the vault via the doorway. The gang with the most fighters in the vault, or the only gang left standing, will be the winner. This feels like it's going to be an awesome matchup and game. That's what we hope for, at least. As always, thank you for watching. Feel free to leave a comment, and be sure to give us a like. Turn 1 is coming up next. Now, in the pregame sequence, we did roll off as we had fighters from both sides with Infiltrate. They have done that. And now the Cultists play Preemptive Measures, and they will get to move 2 of their fighters with a simple move prior to the game starting. This has allowed Ocelot with that heavy stubber to infiltrate, and then use that to get into a firing position and hope for priority in turn 1. And with turn 1 priority rolls coming out, the Nomads are going to take it, and Tara the warrior is going to activate immediately, get out of Ocelot's line of sight. The Disciple still has his eyes on someone with his heavy stubber, however, as the leader of the Nomads did infiltrate pretty close to the Ambot in the center of the board. We actually didn't even know this was there until we got down and looked at it. He's going to take a shot here, giving partial cover to the Nomad leader. This is going to require a 4. Rapid fire 2 on this weapon. He is going to sink 3 hits into the Nomad leader. He will come pinned. Strength 4 is 3s to wound. It is AP -1, so he will get a 6-up save, which he fails, and he will take a wound. Bach then activates for the Nomads. He's got a long rifle, using both moves to get up the board. Dog activates for the Cultists, moving up the board as well. Back over for the Nomads, Miku is a warrior. He's going to use both of his actions to move as well. And then we've got Jek moving forward for the Cultists with his grenade launcher, getting into cover. Raki is another warrior for the Nomads. He's going to move twice, getting into an advanced position with cover. As we flip back to the Cultists, the leader Angmar is going to use both actions to move, moving up into cover as well. The Watcher Oro with his Stormcaster is going to move up as well. The Cultist Flea is going to use an action to open up the door and use his second action to move through. The Nomad leader Eros is just going to make a crawl maneuver, staying down, trying not to make himself a viable target. Chum activates next. He is their specialist with a long rifle, and he is going to move to the top of the stairs. And he is going to attempt to take a shot. Got one of the warriors that he can see through the window here. The warrior is going to get full cover. As he normally hits on a 4, full cover makes it a 6. He does have an infrasight, however, so that's going to make this a 5 in order to hit, and that shot is going to miss. We've then got another cultist, Raisin, who is going to use both of his actions to move, coming up behind Flea. And this will bring turn 1 action to a close, so Ocelot, the Disciple, was able to put a wound onto the leader Eros. We did also see a long rifle shot from Chum that missed. No major injuries on the board, just fighters getting into position. Turn 2 coming up next. Turn 2 priority rolls going out now. It goes back to the Nomads, and they are going to use Now You See Me here, and the Nomad leader is going to disappear and reappear 9 inches from his original spot. He is then going to stand and attempt to activate the Ambot by passing a 6-up intelligence check. With that being successful, the Ambot receives a ready marker, and that ends the Nomad's turn. As we move back to the Cultist, Chum, with his long rifle, is going to target one of the warriors looking to advance up the center. The warrior receives full cover, making his to hit a 6, but he does have an infrasight that brings it down to a 5, and he does aim, making it a 4, but that shot is going to miss. An ammo check is subsequently required, and that will fail. Next, the Nomads are going to activate the Ambot, sending him forward with his first action, and then is going to fire a Melt-A-Gun, targeting Flea, has him in the open, and the shot is going to miss. Flea recognizes he's in trouble. He is going to use an action to move down to the bottom window here, and he is going to fire with his reclaimed autogun. He targets the Nomad leader, needing a 5 with partial cover, and that is going to hit twice with rapid fire. Strength 3 against Toughness 3 requires force to wound, and that's 2 wounds. Mesh Armor is a 5-up save. Both are failed. That will reduce him to 0 wounds this time. 2 injury dice are coming out, and he is double out of action. Eros, the Nomad leader, has been taken down, a 36, which is grievous. So the first out of action is in favor of the Cultists. We've then got one of the Watchers who is going to move up with his long rifle. He's going to target Ocelot, the Disciple, on the other side of the board. Infrasight and long range makes this anything but 1 to hit, and shot rings out at strength 4, and it's going to miss. Ocelot, the Disciple, is going to remain calm, and he is going to open up with his heavy stubber, just able to see one of these warriors here through the window. We'll try to give you a shot of what that looks like, but he is going to open fire with his heavy stubber, rapid fire 2, and needing 5s due to full cover. The shots miss, and the Watcher Oro is going to move forward with his charge caster. Up next, the Cultist Jek is just going to maneuver to the side, and he is then going to fire a frag grenade down the board. He is targeting open ground, so just needing a 4, and the frag grenade would clip the warrior Tara here. The shot from Jek is successful, rolling up a 6. We do roll for a knockback, which is also successful. Strength 3 against Toughness 3, there is no wound, but he'll be blasted back and will go down pinned. The Nomads activate another warrior. Going to use his first action to move. They can go up to 6 inches. He's going to get on the stairs, and he is going to fire a blast carbine at Ocelot. Partial cover makes this a 5 to hit. The shot misses. For the next move, we have the leader of the Cultist, Angmar, who is just moving onto the other side of the wall from the Ambot. Another warrior activates for the Nomads, using both actions to move, trying to get into a better position. On the other side, we've got Dog, who activates, uses both of his actions to move as well. The Nomads are then going to activate the warrior that was hit previously by the frag grenade. He gets to his feet and then moves into cover. We've then got another Cultist that is going to activate, using both actions to move. And that brings turn 2 to a close. The Ash Wastes Nomads in a bit of trouble here, as they did lose their leader Eros. They will owe a bottle check in this one, and that's going to be good. With no recovery rolls, we are going to move into turn 3 priority rolls, and it looks like the Nomads are going to take it again. And with the Nomads taking priority, they are immediately going to try to get a shot off, once again targeting the Disciple Ocelot. We've got Miku, who is going to move into short range with his Blast Carbine, gets a +2 within 10 inches with his Blast Carbine. He lands 2 hits rapid fire, 4 is required to wound, 1 wound converts, and then it is a mesh armor save, which is 5 up, and that is going to be successful on a 6. Ocelot will go down pinned, which is part of the battle when you're fighting against unwieldy weapons like this heavy stubborn. We flip over to the Cultists for their first activation of turn 3, and Raisin, the Cultist, is going to move forward with a move, and he is going to fire at one of the approaching warriors. Going to get full cover here. Normally hits on a 4, so he's going to need 6s. The shot misses, ammo check is required, needing a 4, that fails, so his gun's out of ammo. We then have a Nomad Warrior positioned in the center. He is going to move into the building here, and he is going to target Raisin with his Blast Carbine. The shot is lined up to where he just needs his base ballistic skill of a 4 to hit, and the shot misses. On the other side of the board, the Cultist Jack is prepping his grenade launcher, loading in a crack grenade, and he is going to target one of the approaching warriors that's putting some pressure on the Disciple Ocelot. He is going to aim this down to a 3 in order to hit with the crack grenade, and that is going to be successful. An ammo check is required and will fail. Just 2s to wound here at strength 6, and there's no wound. The Cultists use their tactics card Lucky Shot to re-roll this back out, however, and that does convert into a hit. He goes down pinned, and we're immediately going to roll out some injury dice for him. 2 of them, and it is double flesh wounds. An initiative check is successful. To avoid a small fall, we move over to one of the Watchers, who is going to take a shot with his long rifle, targeting Chum. Partial cover is offset by the infrasight, and he's going to take a shot needing 3s. And that shot is going to hit. Chum's going to get knocked back and go down pinned. The ammo check is good. The wound roll is also going to be good. AP1 cuts through his flak. An injury die will be rolled out, and it will be a serious injury. Initiative check also rolls out, and it is good. Now, using the skill Fast Shot, he is going to fire again, getting to treat his shoot action as a simple. This time he targets Raisin, and that shot is going to hit as well. Strength 4, needs 3s in order to wound. There will be no wound, but he will be knocked back and pinned. Up next for the Cultists, we have Dog that is going to activate, and he is going to use both of his actions to move, running up to get beside Chum, hoping to lend him an assist in the end phase. Another warrior is going to pop around the corner and use his blast rifle to take a shot. He's looking at Raisin that is on the ground right in front of him. Gets a +1 short range, so this becomes a 3, and that shot is going to miss. The Cultist Flea activates next. He uses his first action to move, and his second will be to fire down at the approaching warrior. And he's going to get full cover here, so the dice roll required is a 6, and that is going to miss. The Watcher with the Chargecaster activates next, and he is going to fire across the way with a crack grenade targeting the Disciple Ocelot, and he is going to land a hit. He fails to wound, however. Ocelot is going to use this opportunity to get to his feet and then use his second action to move towards the stairs. The rest of the activations will belong to the Cultist, and Chum here is just going to pass on his activation. We will then go down to Angmar. We'll try to pass an intelligence check on a 7+ to activate the Ambot, and he does that successfully. He then uses an action to move. The Ambot is going to activate at the end and make a few moves to the window, and that is going to bring us to the end of turn 3. So the Cultists do have a man down. They cannot fail their bottle test, however. We are going to see a bottle test come across for the Nomads, and that's going to be good. Recovery tests will need to be taken by Chum. He is getting an assist, so we'll get to roll out 2 injury die, and he is going to stay down with a serious injury, using the tactics card Speedy Recovery in order to re-roll one of these, and that turns into a flesh wound. Chum rolls back over as we prepare for turn 4, and this time the priority is going over to the Cultists. And to kick things off, Angmar is going to call for a group activation. The Ganger Flea is going to activate first, and he is going to move forward, and he is going to take a point-blank shot at the approaching warrior attempting to pin or take him out of action. He closes the gap to get short range here, so just needs a 3 in order to hit. The shot fails, however, on a 1. The second part of this activation will be the leader Angmar, and she is going to pass an intelligence check on a 7+ in order to activate the Ambot. That is successful. She then uses her second action to move up the board into cover. On the other side of the board, one of the Nomad Warriors is just trying to get away from this heavy bolter, gets to his feet, attempts to leap down, but upon failing an initiative check, needs a 3+, rolls up a 1, he stumbles and falls off the side. Not high enough to do any damage, however. Back over for the cultist, Raisin is going to get to his feet and then move into cover. Still has a weapon with no ammo in it. And then we've got one of the Nomad Warriors going to fire into Flea, quickly approaching. Normally hits on a 4 short range, goes down to a 3 with the blast rifle. The ammo check has failed, and because of shock on this weapon, it auto wounds. The save is good, however, on a 6+. Over for the cultist, they go ahead and activate the Ambot. He is going to use both of his actions to move. And as we flip back to the Nomads, we do have the Watcher with the long rifle, and he is going to take a shot up at Dog. The aim and the infrasight offset full cover, so just needing his ballistic skill of 3 to hit, and that is successful. Strength 4 against Toughness 3 requires a 3 to wound, and there is no wound. An initiative check by Dog is failed, however, and he is going to plummet to the bottom. Strength 3 hit, wounds on 4s, which is good, and then he takes an armor save. With flak armor, needs a 6+, and that is going to fail, so an injury die coming out for Dog from the fall, and he will be seriously injured. Chum can now safely get to his feet after being seriously injured, and he's going to attempt to reload his rifle. That fails, however. The Nomads get ready for the next activation, and Oro, the Watcher with the Chargecaster, fires a crack grenade, and that misses, aiming for the Disciple Ocelot. Ocelot activates next for the Cultists, used both of his moves to continue to move up, getting into full cover. Up next, we have one of the Nomad Warriors going to make a run maneuver, getting as close to this Ambot as possible, hoping to win priority on the next turn. If they can potentially activate this Ambot and cause some carnage. The grenade launcher being out of ammo, Jack attempting to reload it twice. Both of those attempts fail. We've then got Dog, who is going to pass on his activation. And turn 4 concludes, and both sides are close to the Ambot here. I think the Nomads did forget that the Cultists have seized the initiative, so they could be in a bit of trouble here. Bottle check for the Cultists is good. Bottle check for the Nomads is also good. We've then got a recovery roll for Dog, and it looks like he is going to stay down with a serious injury. And with turn 5 on the horizon, the Cultists playing Seize the Initiative. Such a basic tactics card, but so powerful. And with that first activation, Angmar will pass an intelligence check on a 7+, activates that Ambot, and then quickly dashes away. The Nomad Warrior definitely in trouble right here. Will activate next. Gonna wrap around to the window and catch Raisin from behind. Short range is a +2 modifier, so offsetting full cover here. Just needs a ballistic skill of 4 in order to land a hit. This is rapid fire. The Blast Carbine plugs Raisin 3 times in the back. And Strength 3, Toughness 3, 4's needed to wound. 2 wounds on the board. 6+ flak armor saves are failed. 2 injury dice coming out for Raisin, and he is down with a serious injury. The Cultists are then going to activate the Ambot. He's going to march forward 4 inches. He points the melt-a-gun at one of the warriors here. He is going to get that +1 modifier for shooting short range, so we'll need a 4. There's no cover here. The melt-a-gun lands a hit, and its strength 8 just needs 2s to wound, easily wounds, and AP 4 cuts through any armor. There's going to be an injury die that's rolled out here, 3 of them, and there's an out of action. The D66 equates to a 32, and a nearby cool check is going to be passed, needing a 6+. The Watcher Oro retaliates by firing his Chargecaster with a 5-inch blast template, targeting the ground, so just needs a 3 to hit, and while that is successful, he rolls another 1 to wound. And it's not to be. Over for the Cultists, we have Ocelot winding up his heavy stubber, ready to fire that down at the Nomad Warrior. This is rapid fire 2, but both shots are going to miss, and an ammo check on one of the dice is required, and that weapon is out of ammo. The Nomads are hunkered down in front of the vault door. A long rifle shot from the Watcher comes across and connects with Chum easily on his 6. He only needs 2s to wound because he has a flesh wound, and this weapon is strength 4, and he rolls up a 1. While the shot will knock Chum back and pin him, an initiative check will be taken. It will be good. And we flip back to the Cultists, where we've got Jack desperately trying to reload that grenade launcher, and he needs a 6 up. He's going to try to reload this thing twice, fails both times. One of the Nomad Watchers who has been down on the ground finally gets to his feet, and he is going to use an action to fire up at Ocelot in full cover. Short range offsets that, but no chance on a 1. The remaining moves belong to the Cultist, and Chum is going to get to his feet, rush down to the bottom of the stairs, trying to get close to Dog to help him out. Flea is going to get to his feet and dash into cover. Raisin is just down on the ground and will pass on his activation, deciding to stay that way. Dog is going to make a crawl maneuver to Chum, hoping to get an assist in the end phase. And that wraps up turn 5, so the Cultists are starting to take some blows in this one. They have 2 fighters that are down with serious injuries. The Nomads did lose another fighter that time to the Ambot's Melt-A-Gun. All tactics cards have been played, so no tricks are left in the book. There's successful bottle tests by both gangs on the board. Both gangs electing to stick with this one. Dog will stay down with a serious injury. We will then flip over to Raisin. He stays down with a serious injury as well. We've got turn 6 coming at you with priority rolls. The Nomads will be up. And unfortunately, the Nomad Watcher is going to be too far from the Ambot to get over there and activate him. That was potentially a big swing for this game. Decides instead to aim and fire at the Ganger Flea. The aim and Infrasight will offset full cover, and he is going to hit Flea, which is going to knock him back and pin him. He is going to wound Flea with strength 4. No armor save on this one, with AP 1 cutting through the flak armor, but it is only going to apply a flesh wound. Flea is immediately going to get to his feet and return fire with his reclaimed auto gun. He is going to miss, however. The Watcher loads the Chargecaster with another rocket, decides to fire that down with a blast template, once again targeting the terrain and able to clip 2 of the fighters this time. He is going to hit on his base of 3, which is successful. The wound roll for Flea is going to do a wound here, strength 4 against his toughness of 2 now, so that does do a wound. He does block this, however, with his flak armor, rolling up a 5. We then go over to Angmar and roll up to try to wound her at strength 4, and that is successful as well, and she is going to fail her mesh armor save, and she will end up taking a wound. Angmar then immediately gets to her feet, and she is going to attempt to target one of the Nomad Warriors inside the building. Going to get full cover here. Reclaimed auto pistol firing needs 5s. Those shots are going to miss, and that warrior is then going to activate Burst Through the Window and give the coup de grace to Raisin. The D66 roll is going to be a 64, which is critical, and we'll have to resolve that at the end of the match. Seeing this, Jack is going to stop attempting to reload his grenade launcher and attempt to charge into the Nomad Warrior. He's got to roll up a 3 on a D3 to make it into contact, and he does get it. Jack comes in swinging to the back of the Warrior with 2 unarmed attacks, hitting on 4s, and he whiffs on both. The Warrior then turns to face, and this will cause him to hit on 5s. With 1 attack, he does hit him, and he is not going to wound. As a Nomad Warrior makes his way across the center of the board with a lot of the Cultists out of ammo, Chum is going to reload his long rifle and remain stationary, giving the assist to Dog. We've then got a reload attempt from Ocelot, fails on the first, looking for a 4-up, fails on the second. Dog is then going to pass, and turn 6 comes to a close. And with how things are currently going in this one, I believe that the Nomads are going to go ahead and voluntarily fail their bottle test and flee the battlefield. And we are going to see if this was a good idea or not. I always like to see how this plays out. So we do roll up for bottle tests for both sides just to see what would happen, and both sides are going to be good. Recovery rolls coming across for Dog right here, getting 2 for the assist. It looks like he is going to roll back over with a flesh wound. And then we roll for priority for a hypothetical turn 7. The Cultists would be up first, where they could easily activate that Ambot and potentially do more damage. That's all hypothetical, of course. For this one, the Nomads did voluntarily bottle out and flee the battlefield. The Warrior engaged in combat rolled up a 6 on their initiative test, so they were able to successfully flee. It looks like the Ash Wastes Nomads are going to fall to 0-2 in the campaign, and the Helot Cultists are going to improve to 1-1. This was a really, really fun game. I highly suggest checking this scenario out. We're going to talk about it a little bit more in the post-game coming up next. Alright, welcome to the post-game in this one. Again, a lot of fun playing this scenario. It may have looked kind of one-sided for the Cultists, but the Nomads were definitely in that game. Several of the Cultists were out of ammo. The Heavy Sniper was out of ammo. The Grenade Launcher was out of ammo. The Nomads got extremely unlucky on a lot of their rolls tonight. They rolled a ton of ones. That's just what can happen sometimes when you're playing these games. I did infiltrate the leader up a little too far. Again, I made this mistake in the last one as well in that game against House Orlok. And I made it again here. I figured if I could get to the Ambot and activate him early and get him on my side, that I could do some damage, and of course he whiffed. I then got pinned and lost complete control of the center. At any rate, this scenario was a lot of fun, and it is one that I do suggest that you check out. The Nomads are going to improve to 1-1. We'll give them 50 credits for their efforts today. The Nomads will leave with 25 credits. The Cultist Raisin was escorted to the dock, but upon the roll, they were not willing to pay the credits, and he is going to die. For the man of the match, we're going to go ahead and give that over to Flea, as he was able to take down the Nomad leader. I think the Nomads are going to have a long road to recovery in this campaign. And with that, I will leave it to you. What did you think about the game? Feel free to let me know in the comments down below. Also, big thank you to the Supporters Club. Your names are on the screen now, and the terrain is now fully up to date. I really appreciate your support. It is totally optional. If you've watched the video this far, you've done more than enough to support my channel, so thank you so much. Links and all that will be down below, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.